At a recent party with my wife, my kids, some friends and their kids, we improvised a ChatGPT based party game, and I want to share that with you. I think it's a ton of fun, really easy to execute. 3 or more players can scale up to 30 players or even more, either exactly as we played it or with some variations, suitable anywhere from elementary school kids all the way up to adults. So I just call this the AI Monster Battle Game, or the Golem game, after GLLM's, Generative Large Language Models, which are sometimes called golems, and that would include ChatGPT. Kind of similar to like a Pokemon style game, or maybe you can think of Smash Bros, where you get these monsters and have them fight and pick a winner, basically. So the way we played this is we stopped by Target, picked up a pack of white printer paper and a pack of 120 colored crayons, and we brought that to the party along with some pencils and set a timer for 10 minutes, and everyone at the table would draw these monsters. Now you can easily come up with variations where you don't need crayons, you don't need computer paper. Here I am on jspaint.app. You could have people using something like this. After the 10 minutes was up, someone opened ChatGPT, in this case that was me, and we just went clockwise and numbered the monsters 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. We asked ChatGPT to pick 2 of those numbers randomly and have them battle. And here's where the fun begins. When they did that battle, we provided a description of the picture to ChatGPT. This was a ton of fun because some of the pictures were really awful, and often the people describing it didn't really understand what the person who drew it intended. And this created sort of like a telephone game effect that was really fun. One of the example monsters is in the lower right. Stay to the end and I'll walk you through the actual tournament that we conducted, including pictures of all our monsters and who the winner was. For each fight, we asked ChatGPT to read the description, generate a monster name, special ability, element, identify any special weaknesses if they existed, and declare an overall power level on a scale of 1 to 10. To generate these descriptions, the person whose monster it was, we would go to their right, skipping the person who created the monster and their opponent, so only independent parties could create a description. And this would be a bulleted list, 1 sentence per player. In our case, we had about 7 people, so ChatGPT would receive 3 or 4 sentences of a description. And it's worth noting that players came and went. So this is another reason this is a great party game. You can speed it up, you can slow it down, you can have players drop in, you can have players drop out. The game supports all of these flows very well. After GPT produced these descriptions of the 2 monsters, we then asked it to narrate their battle based on the information it provided and to choose a winner. In several cases, ChatGPT tried to say, in this situation, this one would win. In that situation, this one might win. It sort of depends. So we had to press it in a few cases and say, no tie allowed. Who would win in a fight and why? In our case, we all drew monsters, had them all fight, and we wanted to draw even more. So we did additional rounds, and at one point we ran into a time constraint, and we just had a battle royale with the remaining monsters. So you can see how you can scale up and scale down depending on your time constraint. One variation, if you're concerned about violence, you can turn this into drawing race cars, maybe animals in a beauty contest, maybe trying to draw food and a hypothetical tasting or cooking contest. Another variation is more than 2 monsters in a fight. Smash Bros, you could think of like 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 6, and so on. You can also ask ChatGPT to provide different monster characteristics. So if you think of your classic Pokemon, there's attack, defense, speed, health points. Other RPGs, there are other stats, charisma, stamina, magic points. Sky's the limit. I think some of the terrible drawings are hilarious, but if you really want to ensure high quality drawings, you can use something like viscom.ai to improve the quality of the drawing. There are some other variations on screen, and that sums it up. If you'd like a full walkthrough of an example of how this played out, I can take you through our game, including more than a dozen illustrated monsters like the one you see on screen. Stay tuned for that next video. The link will also be in the description.